I wanted this video about tough love and how some brothers you have to be tougher on some brothers you have to be less tough, but nevertheless you got to be tough on Jake. Jake, there's a lot of stuff Jake don't get. You got to be rough. You got to come with a rough demeanor. Sometimes you got to chill back and relax. You know, you have let me grab over here and okay, this is Sirach chapter 31 and verse 22. It says, "My son, hear me and despise me not, and at the last thou shalt find, as I told thee, and all thy works be quick. So shall there no sickness come unto thee." So now I want to focus on the first part about this. Now this is talking about basically, wisdom. You know, so you hear, because it's what Sirach's, you know, Ecclesiasticus, Wisdom of Solomon is about. It's about wisdom. You know, these books are there for a reason because we gotta, excuse me, you gotta use them. And now, at the beginning of it says, "It says, my son, hear me and despise me not." Sometimes there is a tendency when you hard headed, you don't want to hear what needs to be told. And wisdom is like the same way. Hear, listen to what I'm saying. You gotta be able to sometimes stop and examine yourself and be like, man, you know what? I need to fall back and really listen because it's hard to do that when you're being rebuked. But nevertheless, you got to do it. Okay, I want to grab another verse. This is Proverbs 3 and 11. It says, "My son, despise not the chastening of Yahweh, neither be weary of his correction." His correction could come from, things happening to you, or his correction can be a brother getting on you. So you're not supposed to despise that. You know, sometimes a brother can be very, very harsh, and you gotta eat that sometimes. If the brother's right, you gotta eat it. If the brother's wrong, guess what? You still gotta eat it. The Most High exonerates you, and that could be, something against him. But if a brother is over you, he tells you something, you should obey. You should follow. A lot of times brothers don't really understand. They think that, using your authority against them, and come to find out years later they're like, "Oh, okay, now I see what you was doing. Now I see why you did such and such." You're not always going to understand those decisions that's being made in the moment. Now this is 2 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 5 says, "Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahweh Shai Hamashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates." So we gotta really examine ourselves. Because guess what? When you don't do it, somebody else examine you. By the time they examine you, they get on you, they cussing your ass out. And that's just nature. Some brothers ain't gonna be able to get it. Some brothers is gonna be, you know, softer than uh drug drugstore cotton medicine. and they got to be, harden up. That's just what it is. Some brothers aren't used to order. This is Second Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 10. It says, "Therefore I write these things being absent, lest being present I should use sharpness, according to the power which Yahweh hath given me, to edification and not to destruction." What does that mean? That's I'm not about to do it, but read that verse in uh the the ESV or the NIV or other translations. Sometimes a brother, because this is what Paul do, he sent a message to them. I'm not about to talk to you face to face and rebuke you, because you can't handle the type of chastisement I'm about to give you. So I'm going to send you a letter and be absent. I'm going to read this again. "Therefore I write these things, being absent, lest being present I should use sharpness, according to the power which Yahweh hath given me, to edification and not to destruction." Some, there's this, tendency, brother. Hey, brother, you could have called me. You could have called me. You could have called. No, sometimes calling somebody is the absolute worst thing that you could do, because all the emotions is all up, and the brother ain't ready. He's knee jerk reaction and response, and want, hey, man, you could have called. No, sometimes brother got to send you a message. Sometimes brother got to send you a text message. Be absent and send something to you. Always, you could have called me face to face, brother. If that brother handled you face to face how you think you wanted it, it wouldn't have been as nice as how he presented in the text message. In the text message, you can take your time and think about what you want to say, how you going to say, sprinkle it with salt. You say something smart, you're going to get a response back that is not going to be well thought out. You might feel some type of way, and guess what? That's your ass. So you gotta be, humble in this thing. Everything ain't talking face to face. Paul didn't, what Paul was doing. He sent a text message is a modern day message. It's all it is digital. It's the same thing. Everything ain't always about calling somebody and talking to somebody face to face. The Corinthians is a church that Paul had the most trouble with. And I'll have to leave a letter. Let me say something to you also. If you've been in this thing long enough, Jake will get amnesia about things. You tell him face to face or on the phone. Jake will catch amnesia with the heartbeat. You didn't say that. You said such and such. A letter is a record of what was stated. There's time to use letters. There's time to talk to some people face to face. There's time to talk on the phone. Everything ain't face to face. Everything is not a text message. Everything ain't a phone conversation. You know, and that's it. On that note, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakodash. Double honors to the elders GMS rule well. Peace, salutations, and shalom.